Don't give up your dream. Don't turn loose of your vision. It's not over yet, my friend. What God is planning for you. For the seeds in your hand decide the harvest God will plan for you and me. Remember today, my friend, and don't give up your dream. I received a phone call from Oral Roberts one day, and he says, Brother Mike, there's 3 sentences I want you to write down and write me a song. Don't give up your dream. Don't turn loose of your vision. It's not over yet. Dr. Roberts, those are good words. Those are good words. He said, we're here in our TV studio here at Oral Roberts University, and we're right in the middle of our TV programs. We'll wait for you to write that. I was sitting on a bed, a little Motel 6 in Arkansas. I said, okay. I didn't have a piano. I didn't tell him that. I didn't tell him I was staying in Motel 6. I simply hung up the phone, grabbed a pen, and began to write on my notebook. And I began to sing these words. Don't let go of the vision that you know God has given to you. For every single promise God has made, you will find so true. And though the fire and the waters may come, they will not hinder you. Remember today, my friend, and don't give up your dream. Don't give up your dream. Don't turn loose of your vision. It's not over yet, my friend. What God is planning for you. For the seeds in your hand decide the harvest God will plan for you and me. Remember today, my friend, and don't give up your dream. I'm singing that for my best friend, Lady Christina, my sweetheart. She loves that song. I dedicate that today to my Christina. I call her the healer in my world. Someday I'll write a book about her, and I'll call the book The Healer in My World. The Unhurried Life is one of the most impactful books I've ever written out of hundreds and hundreds of books. If you hadn't gone to my website, you should. Books are sometimes they're free. They're as low as $2 each. If you're passionate about wisdom, one wisdom key unlocks your palace, your future, your joy world. One wisdom key. Let me tell you about one wisdom key before I teach. I was on a 5-day fast. My office was my garage at 11514 Eagle View Lane, Houston, Texas. It was Friday morning, 2:30 or so. I think it was 2:30 or 1:30. Always, I have so many stories in my life. And suddenly the Holy Spirit spoke to me and says, what you make happen for others, I will make happen for you. What you make happen for others, I will make happen for you. I kept praising and worshiping, but that whisper repeated 3 times, 3 or 4 times, and I stopped. My reaction to it was, that's the golden rule of the world. The whole world knows Jesus' golden rule. Do unto others as you would that people would do to you. That's all over the world. That's the golden rule of Jesus. That's what's the gospel's known for, that golden rule. That's what separates Christianity, that sentence, from Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam. That's what separated Jesus from the Islamic faith, which is extremely, extremely uncomfortable faith. What you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. A third time or so that he said that, I said, wait. That's not what he just said. He said, what you make happen for others, I will make happen for you. Oh, wait, that's a whole different breed. That's a different face. It's a different race there. It's a different race you're running. Wait. And I wrote it down at the little desk I bought from Mexico. What you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. I looked at it. Okay. And for some reason, I believed it. I didn't have a scripture for it that I could recall. He said, do, it was a command of Jesus, do unto others what you want others to do to you. That's pretty plain in Scripture. But this is a different thing. What you make happen for others, God said, I will make happen for you. A few months later, my brother called me, John. He's 81 years old now. He's a very good man. He said, Mike, you know this thing you've been saying on TV a lot? That's in the Bible. What you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. I says, really? Ephesians 6:8. You want to put that on the screen? Ephesians chapter 6, verse 8. From that day forward, that became the motto of my life. And my world changed. When I went to places to preach, I didn't receive offerings for myself. And every evangelist does that at the end of a service. That's what you do when you go preach. At the end, you tell everybody if they'd like to help you travel all over the world, they get it. But I started focusing the offerings at the end of the service for the local pastor, for a project that he had. Sometimes I'd take it up for his wife. Sometimes I'd take it up for his children. And I always have a routine in my ministry. I give every pastor's children $100 bills. It's just something I do. My world changed. Miracles started at a level I'd never known. I want you to slow down your life and build it around someone you trust, someone that's got the servant's heart for you, someone God talks to you. This morning I got up for my prayer time, about 5:30 or so, for 3 hours. I pound that away to you so that you may know that that morning focus on the Holy Spirit is irreplaceable. If I could persuade you, if I were you, I would start with 7 minutes. I wouldn't try to go 3 hours like Mike, but start with 7 minutes. I've got a book called 7 Minutes with God. Come into his presence singing. What? I love you. I love you more than ever. I love you. I love you more than ever. I love you. I love you more than ever. You've been so good to me. So good to me. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord, more than ever. I love you more than ever. I love you more than ever. You've been so good to me. You've been so good to me. Holy Spirit of God, I love you more than ever. Just take a sentence and you sing it. Don't make it stressful. Just say, I love you more than ever. I love you more than ever. A song is just words that you put into a sound of music. Let's look at this. Knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord. Whether he be a Roman, whether he be a Jew, whether he be bond or free, famous or unknown, homeless or a billionaire, this is the law. Since I was about 29 or 30, 31, somewhere in there, that's been my motto of my life. The staff will call me sometimes, say such and such, such and such. What shall we do? And I'll say Ephesians 6:8. What you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. One of my people the other day was going through cancer. Horrible place. Had no money. Needed to fly to Mexico. I pulled out my money. What I make happen for others, God will make happen for me. This motto makes decisions very easy. Very easy. Changed my world. Build your life, your unhurried life, around availability to good people, people you trust. You're also going to need the gatekeeping system that blocks the unqualified from being able to call your phone anytime they want to. The unhurried life must be a protected life. A protected life. I've lived in a gated community where they have security, 24 hours a day, and you have to go through the guards. And I've had people come there, Does Mike Murdoch live here? I hear he lives here, and trying to get through. One man I thought was going to be okay. I got a note, and he said he was a preacher, and so I called him on the phone. Family, for 20 minutes, I thought he was normal. I asked him questions, and he was just as gentle as you could ask. And he had wanted to meet me for a long time, he said. And 20 minutes passed. I got to be careful what I say. And he went into code weird world. He went into a weird place, but I didn't catch it for 20 minutes. I found some of his notes to me yesterday. He's way off. Really, really way off. I could tell you other things. You must build a gatekeeping system in your world. Not anybody should be able to walk into your office, not even your staff. You protect your world. A pastor and his wife came the other day, and I'd preached for them years ago, and I didn't remember them, and they were very angry over, well, what do you mean? You don't mean? Look, we interpreted for you. What do you mean? And it took an hour or so, and I realized something was really wrong. Then she looked at my assistant pastor, David Martinez, and says, we need his cell phone number. We want to be able to call him anytime we want to. I'm 77. I have no memories of ever in my lifetime asking somebody for their cell phone. Never in my lifetime. Never. Whoa, what do you do, Brother Mike? I'd say, send me or have your staff to send me a contact number if you'd like for me to send you something. I asked for a contact number. It would never cross my mind to ask anybody on the earth, for their cell number. That's a private world. Questions reveal the unqualified. Those who ask you for an inappropriate request. An inappropriate request is an inappropriate person. One night at the Wisdom Center, a man walks up and says, God gave me a word for the church. And I was in a happy mood. Oh, yeah. And I hands him a microphone. God gave our brother a word for the church. And he takes off on a crazy song like jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. I stared in shock. I had a young man. We have any preachers here? He lifted his hand. Oh, wow. Good to have you. Where you come from, son? He told me. How long you been in the ministry? He told me. And a few minutes later, he stood to his feet and says, Brother Mike, I have a word from the Lord. How do you know wrong people? They ignore your protocols. They ignore the path of dignity. That's how you know a wrong person. That's how you know a wrong person. They come over the fence instead of the door. They're angry when you require a protocol. In the unhurried life, you're going to have to build a protected life. I do have, I think it's 6 or 7 guns. Big guns, little guns, pistols. And I love the martial arts. And I have people, the people that travel with me have a gun in their pocket. But we don't think like that. But in the unhurried life, you're going to have to really watch out for yourself. Valerie, I know you're getting this. Pastor Anna, Dr. Todd, Renee, Steve, Natalie, Brother David, I loved your note and blessing of this Australia. Barbara from Australia. Sheila, Indonesia. I love you calling me your encourager. Agnes, you hadn't been with us long, have you, Agnes? I remember you're a new friend. I love that. Evangelist Julius, Pastor Ken, Paul, Sarah, John. Lynn, I wrote a song today on the safe place, Lynn, and I thought about you. I wrote it to my brother on the phone a few minutes ago. He's going through the trial of his life, and I wrote that song. Christy, Clark, Cindy. Cindy, you've been a blessing to me. Felicia. God's gonna make it happen. God's gonna make it happen. He gave me a promise. I believe. He gave me his word. And I receive. See her words there? God made it happen. That triggered a song inside me. Mayor Moore said, Dr. Mike, I love your teaching and your straightforwardness. Thank you, Pastor Harold, with all my heart. Jerry Jones, Jacques, Felicia. I love that. Felicia said, God made it happen for me. A 5-bedroom new construction home in a gorgeous country-like area. I sowed to your ministry. God does make it happen for us. What we make happen for others, God will make it happen. Brian and Nicole, that's a good question. And I've missed it a few times when I didn't know the protocol. And it takes a long time, but when you enter an environment, try to know the protocol if you can. Try to know the protocol if you can. Tell them, bring me two. Bring me two. I'm going to go over my 27 minutes, it looks like. One of my people used up her 2 weeks free vacation, where I pay people 2 weeks free vacation. Well, I don't have extra money for that kind of stuff at all. At all. Some people think when you preach on prosperity, you really have a lot of extra cash just laying around. Generosity is almost always mistranslated, misinterpreted. That's one of the stresses of, and I want to tell you in a few moments what a millionaire told me some time ago. Establish protocols. Teach those protocols. A friend of mine, I'm going to keep going here because I've went over time. I can't believe how fast this time is, but He's worth $16 million at the time. Next time he came, he's worth $10 million. And he said, Brother Mike, he said, I learned how to stabilize or create a routine for my children. He said, I give my children $100 on Christmas and $100 on their birthday, and I give each grandchild a $50 bill for their birthday and for Christmas. And I sit there and watch. I said, wait. This man's a millionaire. And he has standardized his giving. I want to say this too. That in my lifetime, just him. And he's smart. He said, I found out that they were talking to each other. What did he give you? What did Grandpa give you? What did he give you? Standardizing your life is incredibly important to have an unhurried life, because your moods can run your world unless you're real careful. Your moods can run your world if you're not careful. I gave one of my sisters $50,000. Something I felt so stirred. I said, sis, if you'll come over, I'll give you $50,000 cash. That begins to pass a worry. Well, the other sister wants $50,000 too then. The problems of the blessed vary. Problems of blessed people vary. But you want to standardize your world. Standardize your world. The unhurried life can be a peaceful life, a restful life. Brian, back to your word about protocols. Pastor got very angry with me in Nigeria because I preached an hour and a half or so. And the next morning he said his people couldn't get home by bus till 2 o'clock in the morning, and he really bawled me out. And I said, what's the time I'm allowed? I'd flown, 8,000 miles, so what's the time? He said 40 minutes. He was good to me. He wasn't bad. He just bad talking to me, real rough talking to me, and it affected me, of course. Words really affect me. Harsh words really throw me for, harsh words really affect me. But I didn't know the protocol. Sarasota, Florida, they had a portfolio when I arrived on a Saturday night. I could not mention my newsletter. I could receive no names and addresses from anybody at the church, and it was a strong protocol. Protocols have a purpose. They have a purpose. My son Clint Ross, South Africa's here. Quote, your wisdom is transforming our lives. Thank you, Dad. Natalie from Israel, I received this. Becky McCoy. Becky, the protection from wrong people is hard. It's hard to do because you love people. But one conversation can ruin you for a week. You must protect where you're sensitive in your life. Heidi, Derek, Stephanie. Sebastian says, I love your wisdom how to handle people. It's a necessity for a joyful life. Know who you can change, know who don't want to be changed. Know who gets angry if you make a suggestion. It's taken me 77 years to even come to a place of just understanding a little bit about people. And I study people and love people. I've preached over 38,000 times in a pulpit in 92 countries. But slow down your life. One of the keys to the unhurried life. Let me come back. I'll tell you that in just a moment. Let me run a little 4 or 5 minute little video here. Stay with me. If you need to go to the restroom, that's okay. If you need to go get something to drink, I sure need something to drink. I thought I'd kind of stabilize that. If we could always have something to drink for me here, I appreciate it. We're going to run a little bit of a, thank you so much. If we could stabilize that, I appreciate that. And if you could go ahead and run the little, that's okay. Run the little 4 or 5 minute, because what I'm going a little further today, but it's real. God's put us in something that's really important. What you have not heard, you do not know. What you have not been taught, where you're untaught, you're unlearned. Where you're unlearned, you're making radical mistakes, and almost every mistake stops you financially. I want to come back with that. I want you to listen to this little video. Stay with me. The unhurried life is the golden key to the joyful life. Watch this and let it bless you. I'm still staying here. Stay here with me if you can. Don't give up your dream. Don't turn loose of your vision. It's not over yet, my friend. What God is planning for you. Brother Oral Roberts called me one day, and I'm so glad you let me come into your home through email. I wish I could send more videos to you. These little 3-minute videos can be an encouragement. Don't you love the trees? Every time you see a tree, say Genesis 8, Genesis 8. As long as the earth remains, the Lord said there will be seed, time, and harvest. Seed, time, and harvest. You can choose your harvest by choosing which seed you want to sow. Every time I see a tree, and I've got a bunch of them here at my home, every time I see a tree, I think of God's goodness and His love and His promise, the covenant of the harvest. Anyway, see this? I taught, teaching all week long on the unhurried life. The book is book number 230, 56 pages. I tell about my crazy mistake in Hong Kong in this book. That's why I wrote the book. It's my gift. Every day I sow a free book. Every day to my partners. 817-759-BOOK. Be sure and call for yours this week. Don't let it go by. The second gift I have is the gift for my monthly partners. Whatever the seed is, because of you, I'm on television in 92 countries because of you. Your mission seed is precious. That's why I'm still on television here in the States. That's why I'm on television in 92 countries. That's why I'm on the radio in Jerusalem. Because of you, Jesus is in Jerusalem. Right in the war stuff. Right in Israel's. This is my gift. It also has 160 pages of all my private notes. Hundreds of wisdom keys. You can't buy this. It's my gift I designed for you. Call the number and say, yes, I'm a monthly partner. That's all you have to tell them. The book number is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then my gift, 100 of my books in the library number 2. 100 of my books in celebration of your $200 seed. Because your $200 seed reaches 200,000 homes on television. I love being your ambassador. I love being Pastor Mike at the Wisdom Center Church family. I'm going live every day. Every 30 minutes, this my Wisdom 27 is re-aired every 30 minutes. So when I'm live at 12 o'clock noon every day on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, every day at 12 o'clock Texas, 30 minutes later, you can still watch me. Every 30 minutes, it re-airs for 24 hours. Wisdom 27 means 27 minutes of radical, glorious, joyful wisdom. Glad you're in my life. Thank you for letting me send you this email. It means the world to me that you'll watch it for me. Bye-bye. We're back. What are the essentials of living an unhurried life? Conversation about the realistic expectations, conversations with somebody. You can get as much joy over something small as you can big if it's your focus. Your focus decides what you feel. If I'm looking at a certain book, I feel a certain way. If I'm looking at water, all my feelings change. You're responsible for your feelings. You are. Nobody else is. You are. It's fabulous if you have somebody that cares about them, but the caring won't be too long. We call the attention span. Our attention span changes so much. I get sidetracked easily. I put on this jacket this morning, and I noticed that it did not have a pocket on the top. I said, this is nuts. Well, at least they've got one on. And I went in, they don't even have, and I lost 30 minutes time on this one thing. I began to wonder, why would they make a jacket and me have to use my hand all day long walking around with a pen in my hand? And I become very agitated. Watch this. You want to guard yourself from possible agitations that you have. Now, that wouldn't bother other people, but it bothers me. And I thought, you know what my reaction was to? I said, well, I'll have a tailor put on a pocket. Why would you wear? There's space here. I need a place to put my pen. Why would I tie up my hand, one of my greatest gifts of life, all day long, holding a pen in my hand? And I got angry. Now watch this carefully. I got angry. I became very angry. So I asked one of my team, would you put it on the screen? I'm going to buy me a jacket that's got because a tailor takes usually up to 14 days just to put I said, let's go to the screen. Let me find me a jacket I will never wear after today. I will never wear another jacket they didn't have enough brains to put a pocket in there. Now, that wouldn't bother some people. Now, here's the point. The unhurried life must become customized for you. You must customize your life the way you want it to be. To live the unhurried life, identify what bothers you. Identify. I'm teaching my staff a code card now where you use, I want a prayer center report. I don't want to have to be calling, so I have a card. What's the prayer center report? It's laminated. Tell me how many people called through the prayer line every 1 hour. Well, you don't want to do. No, I want to know. I want to know how many phone calls come to me within 1 hour from the time I teach you every day. Who were they? Now, here's why I'm saying this. Your needs are very different from anybody else. I wish my bloodline would watch my teaching. I long for that. Well, they know. They love me. They've had enough of me. 57 years of teaching. They don't want to hear anymore. That's hard for me to take. I'm hurt by that. So I have to change my focus. Well, who is enjoying me? And that's one thing you're going to hurt. Your family's there for preparation. They're not there for your joy. Don't let anybody kid you that your family, you may have one or two there, but most of your family are tired of you after a few years. You may not be that way, but they're tired of you. Brother Mike, what if you did this? What if you did this? Well, I buy them houses and cars and all that. It don't make them love me anymore. It don't make them love me anymore. And sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, why don't they care about me? They've had enough. Accept that. But don't forget the good people in your life that care. And that's the breakdown. Watch this carefully. Doesn't mean you have to be a bad experience for them. When you lose influence, never blame yourself. There may be times it is your fault, but in my case, I don't think it's my fault. I do too many good things for people. Listen, Joseph's brothers hated him. David's brothers hated him. Absalom hated his father David, and David was a pretty good man. He produced Solomon. Watch this. The unhurried life must become very customized for you. You must identify what agitates you and avoid that. Avoid that. Like I like punctuality. I don't like being late. I hate being late. And when somebody's late to meet me, it'll be the last time we ever meet. I'm real funny about that. Funny, meaning not funny, ha-ha, funny, weird, odd. The unhurried life. This is session 4 today. You must master protecting your focus. The preacher I told you about, I didn't know. I talked to him 20 minutes on the phone before I found out he was, my mother would say, not right. That's my mother's words. Now, they tell me that you can't say crazy anymore, so you can't call somebody crazy, though they may be. That makes you look like you don't care about the mentally ill. But he wasn't right. Another good word is strange. He was quite strange. I didn't know it for 20 minutes. A lady wrote me about giving me an offering. She wanted to give me a big offering. And boy, I looked at that and I called my manager. I said, I'm not sure this is legitimate. But boy, if this is, I'm ready to shout and dance at this lady. And I called her. It took me about 15 minutes before I found out things were strange. That's the phrase I can use. That's the phrase. Things were a bit strange. That may be your new phrase. Somebody said, what about so-and-so? Oh, he's a liar. She's a deceiver. She's no. Just say, things may seem strange to some people. Just change your wording so you won't be jumped on. I'm jumped on a lot. And I'm guarding myself from that. Young man traveled with me 19 years. Had no idea he was full of devils. Traveled with me 19 years, but the situation never showed up to show who he really was. Been in my home hours, days. Paid him a lot of money. I think $200 an hour is pretty good money to teach the staff some things. $200 an hour. Nobody is ever as they first appear. Nobody is ever as they first appear. People change. There's a third voice. These are the things also your goals change. Let me give you 2 or 3 things. I'm sitting in Wells Fargo. Not my favorite place in the world. The people are a little strange there, to put it mildly. I get agitated. So I said to the staff, let's go to Walmart or something, shop. Let's go look for some houses. Let's look for land around here. I was real agitated, and I saw some lollipops. Now, to me, they're suckers, lollipops. But the bank calls them dum-dums. They're gifts for customers, which is a picture. I went up there, got one for everybody sitting around, and in 2 minutes, I was peaceful. I looked at my little dum-dum, my sucker, and I said to the staff, I said, I hope this doesn't have cocaine or something, marijuana in it, because I'm so peaceful now. I've sucked this thing for only 2 minutes, and I don't want to go shopping anymore. And I realized that my moods can change quickly. In the unhurried life, that's one of them. I just need one, though. Thank you. Shanae feels like my mouth is extremely large. No, she's just being generous. Just generous. One little sucker like this, they call dum-dums, which I'm reluctant to repeat. But I began to suck the little lollipop, and a peace came. Here's one thing you want to remember, if at all possible. Your mood can change quickly. The second thing to remember is you can change your own mood quickly when you find out how. I found out when I sip a little milk, there's a calming effect. Here's the questions you ask yourself. How do I calm myself down? If I think about a certain person, I'm angry. If I think about another person, I'm sad. A man very important to my life has been in prison 25 years. In prison 25 years. And I was telling my best friend, my sweetheart, my Christina this morning, I said, baby, I'm shaking this morning over his 25 years in prison. He's too good. They've mistreated him. They've done him wrong. And I brought him to the ministry, to my life. I began to find ways to bless him. And I told Christina this morning, I said, baby, I would be, if you put me in a cell for 7 days, I would be insane. I'd be trying to kill the guard. But this man's come out peaceful, sweet. 25 years in a jail cell. And this morning, as I thought about him, I just went to shaking. And I says, we've got to bless him some more. I want to make up for those 25 years in prison. I've got to think of some way to do it. In the unhurried life, you must anticipate. Please listen to me. You must anticipate what can disturb you. I've got to get out my sheet the other day after 2.5 hours. One of the most important people in my life. I love him, known him for over 20 years. I changed all my schedule to sit down with him for 2.5 hours. He showed me a picture of every great-great-grandson. I think he showed me a picture of every pew in his church. I think he showed me a picture of every tree on his property. And I sat there for 2.5 hours listening. right close to the end of 2.5 hours. He didn't want to hear anything I had to say. Not one word. He did not care. Now watch this. I should have known that before. He never has cared about anything I said. Never has. He's a good man. He's an excellent man. Excellent preacher. Excellent preacher. But he does not want anything from me. And I sit there, and then at the end he says, I've been going through some depression. And my heart leaped because I know a little bit about depression. And I nodded and I said, there's three things that God's taught me about my depression. He grabs his tablet, starts yanking the sounds around, and gets up, and he's ready to go. 2.5 hours I sat and looked at every picture of every relative in his family for 1,700 years. If you're going to have an unhurried life, you must avoid the disinterested person at all costs. You must guard your life from anyone who really doesn't care. Blood doesn't make you related. Blood doesn't mean they care for you. Don't ever think that for one moment. But you must become people-oriented and know who receives you and who rejects you. Who wants your money, but not your voice? Who wants your money, but not your voice? A young man that I really love, very sweet, came home from college. He drove me around some, and he needed money. And I said, son, if you'll teach the staff, because he comes home every weekend, I said, if you'll teach the staff how to do an iPad, if you'll teach them, I'll pay you $100 an hour for teaching the staff all about iPads. And he nodded, and I've never seen him again. That's been probably 6 months ago. I've never seen him again. He wanted money. That's why he's going to college. His family is a wonderful family. He's as sweet a boy as you'll ever meet. But ever since I offered him $100 an hour to teach the staff, he's never come back, never walked into the office, never reached again. Why do I say that? What is the purpose of every relationship? What is the purpose of every relationship? Hold on. Is this something I'm needing to see now? I don't understand. This is the marker you loved, 8:5:11 marker. I don't know what this has to do with right now. Okay. I'll come back to it because I don't understand the purpose of what I'm teaching now. Okay. What are some things that you must recognize? Who understands your difference and loves it? Who needs your difference but doesn't love it? And you must bring distinction. What is wisdom? Recognition of difference in people. Recognition of difference in people. You must recognize that everybody needs to be trained for you. And you need to be trained for them. You need to be trained for them. I consider the teaching that we're doing to be the greatest on the earth. I don't think there's anything comparable to this daily teaching for how to live successfully. I feel like it's a calling. It's an anointing. I feel like the wisdom keys that I use are straight from heaven. No man on earth, no man, especially Mike Murdoch, could think of the wisdom keys. The place you create pleasure is the place your prosperity begins. When you open your hand, God opens his windows. Where on earth do wisdom keys like that come from? And I don't quote anybody without quoting who it came from. I don't steal information from people. I don't believe in stealing myself. Neither do I believe in lying. Now watch this. You must know the weaknesses of people you love and avoid moments that can become distractive, disruptive, disappointing, and even anger you. I'm teaching my inner staff, the ones that are around me every day, I'm teaching them how to give me one sentence reports, one sentence requests. I don't need to know that the plumber is going to be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I don't need to know that the plumber didn't have the right part and we ordered it and it should be here by Tuesday and Thursday. I don't need any of that information, but I have to train people concerning the information I find valuable. If I say, did the roofer finished? They anticipate being finished by Thursday. Wow. I don't say how many shingles did they put on? How many guys are working out there? When did they come to work this morning? For you to have an unhurried life, you must make a change in what your needs are. What can you do without? See, I want to produce a book every single day. 1 hour teaching is 27 pages in a 32-page book, if you count pictures. If I speak for 1 hour, that's 27 pages. Now I've got to make the decision. What is the system? What's the process? Every hour needs an assignment. The unhurried life. Otherwise, you can have a 3-hour supper with somebody and leave with a $1,200 restaurant bill, and all the way home you're saying, what changed in my life? I hope they love me more. They don't. They won't. Take that from a 77-year-old sponsor of people. And the moment that you find out that that person is difficult to be around, once you find out somebody is not a reward to you, admit that to yourself. You may love somebody, but their presence is a distraction, not a reward system. Let me stop for a moment. Prophet Joshua, it's so good to see you here. I will do that. I don't know if I have time now, Valerie. 3 things I learned, because I fought depression. I fought a lot of stuff. Number 1, your focus is 90% of your depression, what you're thinking about. If you change your focus, you change your feelings. Number 2, you need a replacement, something good to think about. You must have a good person to think about. Number 3, you need somebody that loves to hear you talk. Because when you talk, venting. Every human needs to vent to somebody. That's why Jesus picked up a whip. Why didn't he just run down the street and heal somebody? There's a need to vent. And somebody helps heal that. There's several things there. I'll let you go. Thank you for being in my world today. The unhurried life. I'm working on that. A man that's owned 3 jets and flown all over the world and had 4 different states, 4 different partner conferences in one day over and over. I'm telling you that slowing your life down requires a change in your goals. And you can make something little big enough to bring you joy. Joy is not in a $1 million home. Joy is in the hour of your focus. I call it the hourly world of joy. You can change. You can be changed. You can develop. Be honest about your sorrow. Be honest about your problem with yourself. And what you say to yourself decides the level of your joy. What you talk to yourself. I noticed if somebody had treated me real bad, I said, if I was, well, boy, that's a little deceiver. And when I get real angry, I have a real bad word. My worst word in my life is jackass. Well, when I say jackass, you know that I'm ready to take on the world. That's my cuss word. Not good, it's not right. Holy Spirit always convicts me. But to learn to say something like, sometimes people need special prayer. That's another phrase you could say. Somebody's been doing you bad, say, they sure need a special touch from the Lord. They probably need a special touch from the Lord. Sometimes you can say they seem a little strange. They probably need extra prayer. But change your wording and you'll change your mood. These are ways if you want to sow. The money circle is critical. I feel like money is a major problem for the average person. So I put together book 421. If you give $100 to our ministry, if you sow $100 to my Jerusalem radio ministry, ask for book 421. If you read this book and want your $100 back, I'll give it to you back overnight. This book is worth probably $5,000 worth of collection, what I learned from 5 billionaires in my world. If you sow $100 seed to help me on my Jerusalem radio, ask for book 421. Thank you, family. Love you much. We'll re-air this every hour as we can. Bye-bye.